Well, good Monday morning to everybody. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join us for our Final Expense Monthly Monday. My name is Matt Alina. I'm the Final Expense Manager here at URL Insurance Group, and I appreciate you taking some time to join us for our Final Expense Monthly Monday webinar. For those of you who are new to URL, let me explain to you what this is all about. The Final Expense Monthly Monday is basically a compilation of conversations that I've had with agents in the field that are doing very well or struggling in the final expense marketplace and trying to come up with different solutions and different ways to make more money and to help you sell more final expense. And we're going to be discussing different topics. This month, we're going to be discussing, for those of you who are new to URL, what final expense sales encompasses here at URL Insurance Group. We'll also discuss our lead program and our lead subsidies and how that works. There's a new lead option available that some of you may have already heard in other final expense presentations that we've had. We will also be giving you different sales tips. We'll also be doing poll questions. The poll questions gives me an opportunity to kind of zero in on where you may be having some success and where you may be struggling. And it'll allow me to tailor my services to help you become more successful in the final expense marketplace. And then we'll also open it up for any open calls, or if you want to type any questions, you can ask your questions. I'll read them aloud and get those answered for you. But let me just first explain what we do here at URL. We consider that we have the blueprint for success when it comes to final expense sales. We're the final expense architects. We have everything at your disposal when you partner with URL, from sales scripts, agent guides, online quoting. We have a turnkey marketing program that's designed specifically for Medicare agents, but really we can tailor it to cross-sell final expense to any of your clients. We just have to make some little tweaks here and there to some of the materials, but it will definitely work. We also help with providing you information and materials for seminars and one-on-one training. We have numerous lead resources available. And then based on your production with us here at URL, we do subsidize your lead costs. We have around 18 different final expense carriers. No, we don't recommend that you get licensed with all 15 or 18 of these companies. If you have about 2 or 3 carriers, you're going to have most of your bases covered and have one of those companies to be a guarantee issue plan, whether it's AIG or Gerber or someone else. We mentioned the final expense quote engine. The quote engine is available on our website at urlinsgroup.com. You go to Life Markets and then go to Quoting Tools, and then you'll go to click on the final expense link. It's then going to take you to this page here on the left where you'll put in the state that you're doing business, the client's date of birth, male or female, tobacco or non-tobacco, the amount of coverage, and then there's level, graded, modified, and then you click on Get Quotes Now. Our quote engine does the shopping for you. Now, what I've told other agents is this is more or less a resource for you. I would not necessarily say that you would have this available for your clients to view, because there are going to be companies on this list that you're not contracted with. And final expense sales is really more or less a one-stop sale. So when you show up to the client's home, either the client wants it or they don't. Either they qualify for the plan or they don't. And you figure out a budget that they can work with and go from there. But you want to mention the carriers that you're already appointed with. So you may not be appointed with Oxford, but you are appointed with a Surety or a Mutual of Omaha. And you'll see that there's not a huge price difference with a lot of these carriers. The other thing to note is that there really isn't a final expense quote engine website. People can't really go on a website and run quotes for themselves for final expense. They can for term and some of the other markets for traditional life insurance. But when it comes to final expense life sales, it's really not the case. So how do you get in front of some of the clients to discuss the need for final expense life insurance? We have various lead programs. So we have different lead choices. And I'm going to tell you and be very upfront. A lot of the lead mailers they're not working as well as we had hoped. It's a very saturated market when it comes to the mailers. A lot of homes are getting postcards and letters talking about planning for final expense life insurance. But if you are still interested in doing that, we can get you an exclusive sales territory with exclusive leads. These leads are exclusive, so they're never resold. You buy them, they are yours. You can use them. Let's say you do Medicare. You can hang on to them if it doesn't turn into a final expense sale. Perhaps it could turn into a Medicare sale in the fall. Now, the cost, depending on the territory or the area of the state that you're in, the costs do vary. So it could range anywhere between $32 to $35 a piece with a 20 lead minimum order. Now, we also have teleleads that are available to you. Teleleads, you also would have a defined sales territory. They're exclusive leads. So these are leads that are going specifically to you. They're making phone calls specifically for you. The teleleads cost around $19 a piece with a 20 lead minimum order. The more leads you order, the cheaper the lead costs will get. But you do get what you pay for. Now I'm going to tell you that the verified teleleads, they're $25 a piece. Again, you get a defined sales territory. They are making these phone calls on your behalf. You have your own, they're exclusive leads. They're never resold. And what they're doing is they're taking the phone call to the next level. And what I mean by that is they're going to verify the client's date of birth. They're going to verify when they're talking to somebody and they're interested, they're going to verify the person is interested first. So they're going to verify that the client is interested in talking about final expense. They're going to verify their date of birth. They're going to verify the amount of coverage that they want, as well as verify who their beneficiary of the insurance policy is going to be. And then while they're doing that, they're going to say, is there anybody else, or ask it, is there anybody else in the household that would be interested in getting a quote? Now, you're only getting charged for that one lead, but you might actually be getting 2 leads in that one house. So that's a really good deal there. Now, we've had a few agents that have used them, and they love them. The lead is expecting your phone call. The client is receptive to the phone conversation. They're receptive to meeting with you. They're receptive to talking to you. If I'm going to recommend a lead source right now, these verified teleleads are the way to go right now. So just something to think about there. They're $25 per lead. They have a 10 lead minimum order. So if you are interested in purchasing leads, the first step is to make sure that you're contracted with us, and then make sure that you're contracted with some final expense carriers, and then we'll be able to get some leads ordered for you. If there's a lead vendor that you're using, this is another choice that you have. If there's a lead vendor that you've used in the past that has turned really good leads for you, don't stop, continue doing it. We will still help subsidize those leads. Now, as we're moving into in the years here, and with technology, social media is something that is definitely in the forefront. We have Facebook leads, or access to Facebook leads. So the normal retail price for Facebook leads is around $35 a piece. We have been able to negotiate a rate for about $30 a piece. Now they have a 20 lead minimum order. You're notified in real time when somebody's interested in discussing or getting more information about final expense. And you are provided with the client's name, address, phone number, and their email address. There is a special finesse to working social media or Facebook leads. You can private message people through Facebook. You do need to have a Facebook account. So it's a little bit different there. You're not getting a large number. Agents are not getting a large number of leads from this, but the people who are purchasing purchasing policies are spending more money. And you know that the people that you're talking to have access to email. They're technologically savvy, that where they can at least do basic functions on a computer, where they could do an online application with you. So you have some options there. Again, if it was me purchasing leads, I would probably spend the money on the verified teleleads. Lead subsidies. So I know lead costs can be quite expensive. Now, when you partner with URL, we try to give back to you when you do business with us. Now, our standard partners, that's our non-Gemini agents. For every $1,000 of final expense business that you place each month, we will give you a $50 lead credit to apply towards a lead order. Whether it's a lead vendor that we use or if it's a lead vendor that you have, that you've been using that maybe we don't have at the moment, we can still help give you those lead credits. Now, for agents that are Gemini partners, now for those of you on the call today, you already know what the Gemini program is all about. Let me explain what the subsidy is and then let you know what the Gemini program is all about. So we give you, for the Gemini partners, we give you $80 for every $1,000 of annualized premium that you place each month in final expense business. So if you placed $5,000 in annualized premium for final expense for the month of April, Gemini agents are going to get a $400 lead credit to apply towards their lead order. Standard agents are going to receive a $250 lead credit to apply towards their lead order. We're still subsidizing the leads. Now, the Gemini program, and you can get more information on our website, but basically what it is you consolidate all of your business, your life, your annuities, health, whatever carriers outside of URL. If you consolidate and bring it all under one roof, the roof of URL, we're going to give back to you in other ways. We give back to you in higher lead subsidies, as well as different quarterly bonuses and a whole bunch of other different programs that are out there. So this call really isn't designed to kind of go deep into the Gemini program. If you want to have a conversation about that, feel free to give me a call. I'll be happy to talk to you more about the Gemini partnership program that we have. But understand that we do have lead subsidies, whether you're a Gemini partner or you're a standard partner. And it's basically to give back to help you continue to gain more leads and gain more traction in the final expense marketplace. Now, here's the time where we're going to get into some sales tips. Now, a lot of you that are on the call today are seasoned in sales. You know how to handle objections. And one of the things, you kind of have to be like a duck where you just have to let it roll off your back. You really cannot let it, you can't internalize objections. But some of the common objections that you're going to hear in final expense sales: I can't afford it. Let me think about it. Now is not a good time. And it really doesn't necessarily mean for final expense. It could be really for any sale. But understand that there's some ways that we can kind of handle some of these objections and possibly change their mind. So let's kind of role play here. So if the client says to you, I can't afford it, here's a typical or a good response to say back to that client. That way you're not leaving out the door angry, upset, and frustrated. So if they say, I can't afford it, you could say, I appreciate your concern. The fact that you can't afford it is probably the very reason you should get this coverage. How difficult would it be for your family to cover your final expenses and your loss of income? Get them thinking a little bit more about it. You can't afford $30 a month. How is your family going to afford a $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 final expense, a funeral bill, or even a $7,000 or $8,000 bill if it was for cremation? So putting a little bit of money aside now is going to help the family cover final expenses and that loss of income later on down the road. Another common objection: let me think about it. Here's a reply to that. I understand how you feel. In fact, others have felt the same way. I found that when someone wants to think it over, that usually means I didn't explain something properly. So that I can be sure that I haven't left you with questions. What are you most concerned about? Is it price? Is it the coverage amount that I'm recommending? So you're having more of a dialogue there and to see what it is. A lot of people are probably going to say it's price, which then you can go back to the part of it where I can't afford it. And the other common objection that you're going to hear from somebody is, now is not a good time. So you can say, I understand your situation, and keep in mind that insurance premiums are based on your age and your health conditions today. Now, I'm not here to scare you, but something could happen between now and then, and your family could become financially stuck. Do you think it makes sense to provide at least a little something for your family today? You might get another no from there. But again, you're at least trying to stay in the game to give it one more shot, where you're trying not to take no for an answer. Continuing on some of the sales tips that we've researched, another thing is handling objections. When you are talking to somebody, try to use the terms feel, felt, found. Like, I understand how you feel. Others have felt the same way, but they found blah, blah, blah. Or another thing, reverse the answer. The fact that you can't afford it may be the very reason you should get this coverage. Or the other tip is spotlight. To feel strongly about this, you must have had a bad experience. Can you tell me about it? That way, you're a very good salesperson. As you all know, a good salesperson does a lot of listening. And the sales tip that I used last month, your clients or your lead, the person you're talking to, if you listen, they'll tell you how to close them. And by spotlighting it, if they've had a bad experience, you're having a dialogue with them, and you're not necessarily pressuring them, but you're trying to learn a little bit more about them. And as they're telling you some of their experiences, then you can come up with a solution and explain, and you're building a rapport, a relationship with them, and then coming up with a solution that's going to help them. The whole idea is to help the clients. You're helping the clients so that they're not leaving a financial burden for their family. So now we've completed some of the information on some of the sales tips and handling objections for this month. Now it's time for me to ask some questions of you. So hopefully you're not too far from your mouse on your computers, so I can ask you a few questions here. So we're going to do some poll questions. Here's our first question, and everyone, it's basic answers here. Very first question. Are you currently selling final expense? So for those of you who are on the call today, are you currently selling final expense? Yes or no? So my first poll question, this is just to allow me to know who's on the call and to see what we can do to, just so I know who my audience is today. I don't know, by looking at this, I won't know who answered it at this moment in time. I will be able to get a report later on in the week to see that. And then it allows me to focus my attention and tailor my services to help you. All right. So 38% of you on the call today said, yes, you're selling final expense. 63% of you said, no, you're not currently selling final expense. Interesting. What my goal is to try to encourage you to give it a try. I think you'll find that as you grow here, you'll be substantially increasing your income. And we can discuss what the benefits are of selling final expense to your clientele or selling final expense in general. Here's the next question. If you are not selling final expense, why not? Do you need individualized training? Do you need leads or better leads? Or do you need turnkey marketing support? Go ahead and answer that. Either you need individual training, maybe you need leads or better leads, or you need turnkey marketing support. Okay, a few more seconds here to answer those questions. It's interesting how these are collecting the responses. So again, these are questions that I'm asking you so that I can better serve you and help you with your final expense sales. Okay, and here are the results of that poll question. 50% of the people on the call said they need individual training. Great, I'll be happy to do that. I will be contacting you in the not too distant future to discuss that. 43% of you on the call today said you need leads. We'll discuss those as well. And 7% of you on the call today said I need turnkey marketing support. So we will help you with that. We have answers for all of those concerns. So we look forward to working with you on that, and we'll be talking to you soon about that. Now, this is another question that I have for you, and this is for future webinars. What topics would you like me to discuss in future webinars? Would you like me to discuss more details on the leads and lead subsidies? Would you like me to discuss our turnkey marketing programs in more detail? more carrier product information, or different sales techniques? What topics would you like me to discuss in future webinars? Leads and lead subsidies, turnkey marketing programs, more carrier product information, or different sales techniques? I'll give you another 10 seconds or so to answer those questions. Okay. So the people on the call today, the number one answer was more carrier product information. Interesting. Okay, I'll be happy to do that. I appreciate the feedback there. The number two answer was different sales techniques, so we can do that as well. We could also discuss, the number three answer was turnkey marketing programs. Be happy to discuss that in more details in future webinars. And the last was leads and lead subsidies. So very interesting. We'll definitely do that more often. It seems like more people want information on carrier and product information. So I appreciate the feedback there. I really do. So again, the whole purpose for our monthly webinars for final expense is to help you become more successful. And it's really more or less an open forum, which gets me to this next part of our presentation today. We do want to hear from you. I want to know what your challenges are, what some of your successes are as well. How are leads working out for you? And if you're on the fence about final expense and giving it a try, what can I do? What can we do to help you give it a try? You don't have to invest a ton of money in order to make money and become successful in final expense. To give you a case in point, one of the agents had that has been on our calls decided to give the tele leads a try, the ones that were $19 a piece for a 20 lead minimum order. The leads weren't very good. Came to find out that they're using overseas telemarketers. So people aren't English is not their first language. So you're not getting a very good result. The other thing is the agent was calling to get lead information or to call about the lead when the client was specifically said, I'm not interested, and I didn't say I wanted to talk to anybody about final expense. So very disappointing in that result. It's still an option out there for those of you that don't want to spend $25 a lead. But like I said, when we were discussing the leads, you do get what you pay for. And I've gotten some really good feedback from other agents on our calls that have said the verified tele-leads is the way to go right now. It's working very well. Basically, this person, this agent was a kid in a candy shop. The leads were good, they were fresh, and they've all been willing to meet with them that have said that they wanted to talk to them about final expense. So just some food for thought there. So we do want to hear from you. If you're on the call today and you have some challenges or successes, feel free to type those and I'll be happy to read them aloud and we can discuss that right now. You can do that. And of course, usually at the end of a lot of our presentations, you have questions, comments, concerns. Here's my contact information. You can reach me toll free at 800-926-8875, and my direct extension is 141. Again, it's 800-926-8875, extension 141. So if there's any questions, feel free to type those questions and we'll get those questions answered for you, or any comments. We do appreciate your time today. And like I've said, the idea about the final expense monthly Monday webinars that we're doing is really just to kind of be an open book, explain what's working, what's not working in final expense sales, and see what we can do to help you become more successful in the senior life marketplace. So I'm not seeing any questions coming in, so I guess we'll wrap it up. And the other idea here with our final expense webinars is that all this stuff is done within about 30 minutes or so. Sometimes they're going to run a little bit longer. So I appreciate your responses on the poll questions. I appreciate your attending today's presentation. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to contact me directly at 800-926-8875, extension 141. I look forward to working with you and helping you become more successful in the final expense marketplace. Until next time, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe, and we will all talk to you soon.